Right, we're now live on YouTube. So if I can adjust this a bit better and get the screen in. That's good. A little bit of my laptop. You'll probably see a bit of my shoulder. Right. So yeah, I suppose. Yeah. The people in the audience can see me, but I've had to set my phone up that way. Otherwise, the text is in reverse, which is a bit of a challenge. So they can see what's on my phone and this little tripod that I bought for a tenner off Amazon. So this is the ultra cheap way to stream on YouTube, and hopefully it will be of sufficient quality. Anyway, we have 5 people here, and we had the promise of about another 10 or so. Sorry, another 5. Oh, and yeah, people.
I got another person coming as well.
Okay, yeah. Well, and actually, yeah, there should be 8 people here, and is there a bit of my shoulder showing on that?
Yep.
Yeah, good. And a bit of my face as well. Yeah. Oh, well, that's good. Okay, right, fine.
Kind of from here where you are now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wasn't wanting to, take up too much of the picture, really. Well, you'll have to advise me whether or not this looks sensible or not. Right, okay. So, welcome everybody. This is the, I recognise some faces, good, yeah, and yeah, some people here previously. There's promise of more people to arrive. The meetup is scheduled to say that the talk's going to start at 6:15, but I inadvertently and incorrectly scheduled the YouTube live for 6 o'clock, but you're all here anyway, and I can tell you a bit about what we've been up to and what we've done previously. Darren, who is here, very kindly, before I got this nice tripod for my phone, spent the entire night holding his phone and got a workout, didn't you? Which, yeah, it was a good plan. I thought afterwards, actually, I should have said, Darren, why don't you try giving it to somebody else for a bit and rest your arms? But, the obvious solution doesn't necessarily pop into mind. Anyway, yeah, so I'm a commercial professional software engineer, have been for a long while, done other things in the past. There's an about thing on my website here, https hemseye.org/WP for WordPress, because the WordPress people said not to put it in the root, but most people ignore that, it seems, but apparently there's a security risk. Anyway, there you are. That's this website that I've over the past month been building up, putting more info about this open source AI project, which is very much focused on started from scratch type thinking. Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff here on an agenda, but this is something I knocked together earlier, which I'll want us to go through, and I'm going to try and talk to the topics that are on it rather than go through slides, because I read slowly, being dyslexic, so it really slows me down, whereas if I can just gabble on from a topic, I might actually do more, a less irritating job, perhaps. I can talk more quickly. Whereas, you might be sitting there thinking, God, hurry up. Right. So, some intros. Bearing in mind you're live on YouTube and you might be shy. If we want to go around the room, people say what they're here for, and if you're okay with that, you go on.
Sure. I recently moved here, exactly a week ago today. Myself and my girlfriend, and we decided quite some time ago to do do something a bit crazy and just kind of move from rainy Galway, rainy lovely Galway, but rainy nonetheless, to sunny Brighton,
and it's quite a dynamic and vibrant. I don't know what the adjectives are for Brighton, but it's intense would be one of them.
I think the word that we settle on is eccentric.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah.
But a good eccentric.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What's your interest in AI?
I think if you're in computers, it's impossible not to be interested in AI, and speculating about the ultimate singularity at the end of the day, and seeing how automation might take over, and the whole changeover between what AI will do for us in the short term or the long term,
sure,
and how that kind of symbiosis will move over as time goes on, because it's going to happen probably sooner rather than later.
Well, I hope I'll be able to convince you that it will be sooner, because Darren was here last month, and you tell people your interest and what you thought of.
Oh, I'm a contract programmer, so I've kind of got a general interest in computing. But I used to be a games programmer. There's obviously lots of different areas that AI can be applied to.
Yeah.
Well, there's quite a few things that happen here. There's the automated cars and things like that group as well. So there's lots of different groups that this stuff could be applicable to.
Right.
I mean, AI is still very early days.
Yeah. Sure.
That's still the big issue.
Right.
It's very hard to figure out how to use it.
Yeah.
They're using it in things like stock markets and stuff like that, but keeping it quiet.
What did you think last month of my suggestion on how to get computers to understand language properly? Did you think it was a possibility or a pie in the sky?
Doing the hierarchical stuff. I mean, I remember that stuff from the 80s at the universities.
Yes.
I mean, there have been applications for that stuff of summarising documents and things.
Right.
I don't know if it's exactly the same sort of technology. It's something that requires a little bit more thought than a couple of hours.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, well, I'm not formally educated in this. I've taken an interest and read very widely and come up with some new ideas, I think, that I've not seen elsewhere. So, I'm hoping that I can convince enough people, or that it is sound. I mean, some people who were, one guy who was a lecturer in computational linguistics was very excited by the idea and thought, wow, that's could really work. Have you told Chomsky? Which, if you were into linguistics, does he know about this? So, that was his reaction. But then, as a computational linguistics person, he said, no, you need to talk to a formal classic linguistics person to get this to work. But then, when you talk to different academics, they don't want to step outside their particular floor of the university.
It's one of the big issues, isn't it? Everybody's corporate. These days you're in a position where you need several people to
absolutely.
come together.
Yeah. Whereas, so in the software engineering world, you've got an application problem, you understand the application area, you learn everything you need. I mean, you might not learn to the detail, but you kind of black box the concept of, I need to know enough about that there are other people who know the detail, but I can push the knobs and turn the handle on that and know what's what and make computers happen with it. It's what we do as software engineers. So never mind this. It's not my area. I can't get a journal article out of that because it's not in my topic. Do you okay?
Yeah, my name is Matt. I'm a contract programmer,
Uh-huh.
also dyslexic like myself.
Uh-huh.
And I started off designing database systems.
Right.
I'm working down here in Crawley, doing maybe back-end development now.
Sure.
So I think sort of a jump to
I'm more just generally just want to learn more of everything, really. I was invited by my friend here, and I thought, why not? You can't really escape by AI. nowadays, and it could only get bigger.
Yeah.
I feel so. I thought, why not come and join?
Yeah, sure.
And I'm Leo.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Finn. So my background is I know Python. I want to get into machine learning, data science, get involved in AI as much as possible. I think the way you're exploring it is really valuable because like semantic modeling is what AI will be in its core.
Yeah.
So we need to explore that. I think my only comment about last month would be I didn't see enough neuroscience or computational neuroscience. Just because the link between the brain and language needs to be covered before we have AI or anything to do with that.
Right.
Computational linguistics, whatever.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm. Yeah. I mean, there are people trying to model AI closer to the brain. There's a company called Numenta, and I can't remember his name. Did a brilliant book called On Intelligence. Can you?
I'm not seeing the book. I know the
Jeff.
company, but
Jeff, can't remember. Anyway, massively good book. It talks about the layered structure of the brain and how you get the recognition of features feeding from the top of the cortical hierarchical stack to the bottom, and they meet in the middle and sort of compare to say, yeah, this is a cat or whatever, obviously, because it's all about comparing cats, it seems like.
So what's this called? Memento?
Numenta is,
Numenta.
yeah, the guy who runs it, he was part of the Palm Pilot and, that early days handheld thing. So, he's quite an entrepreneur and he's running his own AI research business off the fact that he's completely loaded from the Palm Pilot days. So good luck to him. The only trouble with what he's doing, of course, is that his modelling tends to be binary, whereas as far as we know, of course, nerves are analog. Real numbers as opposed to one or not, floating point. So the scale of what he can do with his stuff is inspired and very clever, and but it's limited. Something else as well when you read his book is when you ask about the real intelligence stuff, like prediction or strategizing or whatever, so he's got this model of the cerebral cortex, and then he then says, well, actually that's off the map. It's between the interactions of the cerebral cortex and the cerebellum, because people assume that where human intelligence resides is in the cerebral cortex, the big new blobby bit, that we have, that cats don't, and dogs have a smaller one. Therefore, dogs are actually cleverer than cats, but cat owners don't like being told that. Anyway,
I suppose
so,
the relationships between all the different parts is
Well,
there.
there's been some work about the fact that there's wiring between, we've got these massive lobes, but actually, they're not, like a plug-in thing. There's a lot of very big and intricate wiring going right the way back, to our ancient brain, because we've got 3 layers of brain, so back to the lizard brain, as it were, and it's actually the real base core stuff, that we've in a sense supercharged, rather than actually, this isn't just the clever library bit on top, it's the whole product that makes it happen, which is interesting because people forget that. So his is like the ancient maps of there be dragons, I'm doing the cerebellum, but it way off on I haven't a clue. Amazing plumbing, clever stuff, sorry.
Hi, I'm Veronta. I'm here for almost 1 week. for 3 months, and I'm a Swiss web designer.
Okay.
I was supposed to come with my associate, Sally. She couldn't come, but in fact we have a project we will launch next year that will handle about AI. So yeah, I'm just interested in
sure.
this topic. And
I just remember the on-intelligence guy is Jeff Hawkins, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's right. Because I get mixed up between him, Jeff Hawkins, and Jeff Hinton, who was the big wheel in inventing neural networks. And he's interested chap in saying that everybody's piled in on neural networks, and people are very mathematical, very much keen on thinking how fabulous this is, and we can write equations and stuff, but there are a lot of limitations in this, which actually will, when we play the video from DARPA, come up, and there's a lot of stuff it doesn't do. He's actually said it's time to scrap the lot and reinvent everything, and he's looking for some. He reckons some young undergraduate will come up with some amazing idea, and find the golden egg or the blue touch paper to make the whole thing explode, and all of a sudden learn. So, we know the answer. It's just we're not asking the right questions because we don't understand the problem enough, and that's kind of where we are really. Anyway.
Hi, yeah, I'm Mike Gibbons. I moved to Brighton 2 years ago, so I'm an old hand compared to these guys. I'm an engineer by trade. I've started and grown and exited companies over a few years. So 2 years ago, I did my last exit in Manchester, and then we decided where to live, and with the same kind of rationale, we ended up in Brighton. So I started looking around then to see what might be interesting to be involved with next, and of course AI comes up as an interesting area. So the bit of research that I did showed that I think a lot of companies were looking at, they had data, some of them had it organised, they were aware of the advances in computational power. They said they should be doing something about AI, maybe the managing director had said, but no one really knew how to take the first steps. Second thing I found was that there was a real shortage of talent, people with any kind of experience to get projects off the ground. So out of that, a year ago, I set up a company, I set up 2 companies in fact, to address this opportunity. So we've started working, so I've got 30 data scientists, and in terms of the work that we're doing currently, sort of three-ish areas. One is in futures trading,
right?
Looking at what can be done there. Second one is for one of the major autonomous vehicle manufacturer, a supplier to the autonomous vehicle trade, and in particular there we're looking at image recognition.
Sure.
The third one then is for a company that does surveillance. It's non-military surveillance, and they use things like drones, thermal imaging, and
sure.
And so we're working on how to develop and how they can work with those images, which are
sure.
Very noisy and so on. That one's kind of leading edge because we're using synthetic images, and so that is sort of pulling PhD papers down from a month ago, and trying to get that into commercially working AI applications.
So you're really making it happen then, aren't you?
Well, that was the thing that struck me with your title, "Make AI Happen." That was the sort of thing that struck me. It was that there's theoretical talk, there was some well-funded large-scale applications.
Yeah.
But for the most, people were looking around, not sure how to do it. Sometimes putting a few students on a job.
Yeah.
And students are students. get so far, but
Yeah.
you can't trust them to take it into a right commercial path.
No, well, I'm, a 30-year experienced software engineer who spent a lot of time doing manufacturing, spent a lot of time doing discrete event simulation, which I'll explain later, that's really good and very useful. And I think a lot like how the brain works in some circumstances.
Yeah.
And, when you say it's a mechanism for doing visual Markov chain analysis, then the mathematical people sit up and think, wow, or a way of doing. Anyway, we'll get on to that. So that's great. So we've got a real mix of people. So as an engineer, what sort of an engineer?
I started off electrical engineering, but then it was kind of computer science side.
Right. Okay, sure, yeah. No, I started off as a business analyst, but prior to that I was a biochemistry research scientist. But I only gave it up after 1 year. I was doing a PhD and discovered that I wasn't a good enough cook. So, you stand at the bench and you have to be able to, have the organisational skills to not wreck the place with the horrible things that you're dealing with. And, the thinking was fun, but of course you go into computer science and it's perfectly safe. You're not going to have your trousers disintegrate, which happened to me the next day after I messed with something. I was just not.
It's only what the customer does to you if you bring down the entire network.
Yeah, but it's not the sort of thing you want to do to yourself. I'm not safe and not good. So, but I play with computers and it's much better. Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, it's 15:15, and there were a load of people who said they were going to come and haven't turned up. But we've got a crowd and a good mix. A lot of people would have turned up without seeing the full advert things. Now, Barclays, who provide this lovely space, and it's for people working, small company startup type place, and there's laser, 3D printers and all kinds of stuff for prototyping and what have you. So it's a very nice place to come to. Do offer free refreshments. So there's Coke and wine over here, and orange juice and milk and tea and coffee and water, and over here there's beer. So if you want to dive in, and please do, this is a good time to pause and grab some refreshment. I'm on a Diet Coke because I'll get jumpy otherwise, but anyway, and I'll just check to see whether or not anybody's actually subscribed to us on.
Do you want some?
I'll have a Coke.
Actually, this looks like I've done the wrong thing on. I'm new to YouTube here, and I'm looking on here, and it says waiting for this to happen. If I press that, does that actually happen? Stop. It says 2 waiting. That's a new experience for me, this. That's my channel. Live now. Make AI happen. Oh. Now that's the one. Okay, so on my phone, Oh, 3 waiting now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this one, which I think no one is actually watching. There are 3 people who are watching this one over here. So I'm going to apologise to them and see whether I can get my phone to work and see whether that works.